That is basically a valid point to make about the whole King thing. Here's a question that I saw, did not realize until it hit the news a lot, was that it was very white. What do you make of that? That the guy in Baltimore, the paper there said, we struggled to, our photographer, to find a picture of black people in this march. I'm okay with that. I didn't go, and I feel like, well, you talk.
Well, we had a meeting.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
And let's just say it didn't go too well.
Yesterday, Bernie Sanders held a rally, a May Day rally in Philadelphia. It was a rally for workers, migrant workers, for immigrants, basically anybody who was against the administration and Trump, right? Amongst the thousands of people that were there in protest, thousands of white people, by the way. Thousands of white people, by the way, right? There were about 70 people arrested. Guess what? Majority of those people that were arrested were the few black people who were out there. Although I have personally stressed time and time again, please do not go out into the roads, don't go in the streets, do not protest, because I have a feeling you will be sought after. Although I have preached this multiple times on my platform, there's still some of us who feel passionately enough and want to go out there. And so they did. And because of that, they were arrested.
Aaron, a lot going on behind you.
Yeah, a lot going on, Fred, right now.
Do you think that
things kind of took a little bit of a turn.
This was a coincidence?
Some of the protesters got a warning twice
Who
to
you
vacate so they can
is
open
being
up
walked
Broad
through
and Vine. And you
in
can see
zip
some are now
ties.
being put in zip ties and being led away over to a bus that's over there.
There's another arrest.
What's going on right now?
That's not the same name.
Do you have anything to say? No?
Solidarity.
Is it worth it to make a stand like this?
Solidarity forever.
The reporter asked her, was it worth making a stance like this? And her response was solidarity forever. Where are the white allies? Where are they? Why weren't they shielding her? Why did y'all let her get them? Not even just her. Why did y'all let them get arrested so easily? Why wasn't any commotion being made? Where's the solidarity? Where is it? And this is why I don't want any of my people, I don't want anybody who is of color going out there. I don't want you out there. I don't want you out there because we will say solidarity. We will ask for peace. We will ask for union. But then when we expect for it to be returned, crickets. Fucking crickets. And don't tell me, oh, why you got to make everything about race. That crowd was filled with thousands of white people. Thousands of white people. Yet they managed to find 2 black women to put in zip ties and to parade in front of the reporters and the cameras. Stop playing in my face.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you watch me from. I'm your host and presenter Genetic Stories, and I think this is the right time to have a discussion in regards to this. You just saw the recent interview of Bill Maher trying to ask where were black people during the protest, and this really sends an alarm to black people, and it confirms that what black people have been saying is the truth. Remember when black people were warning each other against going on the street because they are going to push for martial laws once they see a black person on the street. But black people became so much conscious, and you saw when black people failed to go on, No King's protest, you saw how the reaction of some of the people that expected black people to go to this protest, and it showed that it significantly meant something, and that's why they never showed up. Black people are becoming so much keen, and that's one thing that I like about my people in the United States, because they understand that it is a trap that they are putting themselves into. And now, since they didn't go, you saw the reaction of the people, and you saw how they took this. So, brothers and sisters, I really don't know what you think about this video, but people had something to say about this because black people missing on the protest became a message of concern to especially some of white folks. So, brothers and sisters, let's watch the video. I'll be back, and then I'll be sharing my thoughts in regards to this. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Agent Stories, and if you're watching me for the first time, I'm asking you to please subscribe to the channel, please join the membership, and you can also get to see what I can offer you. For those who are always coming back and watching my videos, for those who are always supporting me through ways that they can, I'm really, really grateful for the support that you're giving me. But until then, I want us to watch this video. I'll be back, and then I'll be sharing my thoughts in regards to this. So let's watch. I'll be back.
Initially, I wasn't going to say shit about this. I wasn't going to say anything about the lack of melanin at these protests, specifically talking about the No Kings protest. But fuck it, here's my take. In the event that you have no idea what I'm talking about, a clip from Bill Maher's talk show actually resurfaced, showing the talk show host expressing his concerns over the lack of melanated bodies at these protests. In the clip, Bill Maher actually states that he noticed a strange presence, that it was strange, the absence of black people at the No Kings protest. And then he even spoke about how photographers were literally stating how they were struggling to find black people, that they could not spot black people within the crowd. Why are you looking for black people? Why are you looking for us? Especially considering we have not been outside since the ending of November 2024. Or have you not been paying attention? We said we wasn't going outside. We said we weren't fighting. So why are you looking for us? That right there is the reason why I'm so happy that black people collectively have come to the conclusion, we're going to sit this one out. This is not our fight. Because we knew that you were looking for us. We knew that you were plotting. You were plotting on us. Photographers for media source outlets literally stating, they're expressing how they found it challenging to be able to capture a black person on film at these protests. It makes me feel like there's some type of quota that they have to meet. Some type of quota of how many black faces they're able to capture so that they're able to use it for their narrative. Now all I really want to know is who's going to be the new scapegoat? Because you can't use my face anymore. You can't use my face. So who's the new problematic group in America? Who's the new violent group in America? Who's the new group that's always causing civil unrest in America? Who? Whose face are y'all going to use to try to make it seem like these protests for civil rights are violent? Who are you going to use to be able to spin that narrative? Whose blood will you shed? Whose life will you claim and be able to get away with it? Who? Because right now, y'all got a whole lot to fight for. Y'all got a whole lot to protest, to scream, to burn shit down for. But you don't want to fight the government. Y'all don't want to fight the government. You want to fight black people. You don't want to fight the Republicans or the Democrats. You want to fight black people. You don't want to fight for your rights. You don't want to fight for your lives. You want to fight black people. Get somebody else to do it.
And to the white people in them streets marching, good job. Congratulations. Now, black people, hear me out. I need y'all to listen. Come a little bit closer. I need y'all to pay attention to what the fuck is going on. Because, one, Trump won this election. Black people said they gonna sit back. We not doing the marches. We not doing the protests. And that's exactly what the fuck is going on. But I need y'all to pay attention to something that's very fucking important. Now, before I discuss these facts that is gonna blow your fucking mind, I do want to say that yes, there are some white people who voted for Trump, and boom, they had to suffer the consequences, and they fucking around and finding out, and now they're part of the march. But majority of the people that's protesting and marching did not vote for this man. By no means am I saying America's perfect, and we all know it ain't no kumbaya. But do not let these motherfuckers in that White House trick and deceive you into separating as Americans. We literally told white people we're gonna sit back, y'all gonna go to the front line, and when y'all show up, then we'll fucking believe you. It's time to fucking believe them. Again, I'm not saying every white person that was in that march originally did not vote for Trump. We know that. But it's almost like being in the middle of a problem and trying to argue with somebody when at the end of the day, all y'all trying to do is work together and get that motherfucker out. So, with that being said, the amount of, when I work in Midtown Atlanta, right? When I seen that protest, I didn't see not one motherfucking black person march. And no, I didn't go through the crowd and look and point and look and see but the people that passed my job, probably one black person out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And with that being said, let's put that in perspective that this is one of the biggest protests in history. Up there with George Floyd and what was the other one? Earth Day. It was an Earth Day protest. So are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Now, phase 1 is complete. Now we have to turn this bitch up a notch. You hear me? We coming together. Period. I don't want to hear shit else.
It's interesting that the media is talking about the absence of black people at the No King's Day protest. I find that really interesting, absolutely. It's Bill Maher who is talking about how there was an absence of black people at these No King's Day protests, and also photographers that were saying, oh, it was kind of hard to find any black people in these protests, like it was kind of a hard feat. Why is that the focus? Why, as a photographer, are you going to these protests and basically just looking for black people? It's almost as if literally everyone was just looking for black people to be there. Everyone was just waiting for black people to be there. There must have been someone like counting to see how many black people were going to show up to these protests. And it also makes me think, like, did the government think that there were going to be more black people showing out in this No King's Day protest rather than the first one? And so, like, now they're outright talking about it and like, oh, well, we didn't really see any black people there. It's like, why is that the topic of discussion? Why is that the topic of discussion when that's not even necessarily what the protest was about? Like, maybe that is a part of the protest, but, like, that's not the general idea. The general idea is no kings, which is currently what's going on with the current administration here in America. So why is it, like, now in the mainstream media being talked about how black people just weren't there? There was a lack of black people at these protests. Why is that the conversation? Why is it always about black people? Like, this clearly must be about black people. It must have been about gauging the amount of black people that would come out and cause a scene or cause a riot or do whatever they thought was going to happen, like, and it just didn't happen. And so now they're in the media talking about, oh, there just wasn't that many black people. Us photographers couldn't find any black people to take pictures of. It's like, why is that your main goal? Why is that what everyone cared about in these protests? That's how you know something's incorrect. And also, like, the power that black people hold. Because genuinely, it's the topic of discussion for every discussion. Where are the black people at? Something about black people. Black people always being brought up. It's just so interesting to see. Not surprising, but interesting.
Check this out.
That is basically a valid point to make about the whole King thing. Here's a question that I saw, I did not realize until it hit the news a lot, was that it was very white. What do you make of that? That the guy in Baltimore, the paper there said, we struggled our photographer to find a picture of black people in this march. I'm okay with that. I didn't go, and I feel like, well, you talk.
Now, I have worked my whole life trying to get the majority culture to appreciate diversity, to notice how there's a lack of black people in boardrooms, how of all the Fortune 500 CEOs, only 1.6% are black, to notice how certain clubs are absent of black people, to notice how certain neighborhoods and schools don't provide us with access. But the one time white folks want to start talking about where are the black folks and noticing our absence is when it comes to us putting our lives on the line and carrying the burden of struggle. So damn typical, man. So damn typical.
Just one generation. The black community can get one generation to have a good, just no unfairness. When you have the vice president defending me being called a monkey, or the watermelon people. People who look like me, the black community, being called monkeys. The vice president of the United States defended that, saying, oh, we can't just, hold them accountable. They're just kids, just kids talk. We can't hold them accountable for a long period of time. Just a month ago, y'all got people fired for speaking negative about CK. And last time I checked, Trayvon Martin, that's a child. Tamir Rice, Michael Brown. As a matter of fact, I'll even say Breonna Taylor. Those are all children, right? Because there was a 25, 30-year-old in that little group chat too. But somehow, the vice president can defend them. But you want to always tell me it's not about race. The Voting Act right is about to be overturned so that way they could dilute the black vote. DEI got removed, even though that benefited white women more than anybody else. Black Lives Matter on the little streets, removed. Black mayor-run cities have been attacked by the president. Slavery and black history has been removed or watered down in our museums across the nation. Over 300,000 black women have been fired or let go from their jobs and counting. But you want to tell me it's not about racism. Racism is why your life is expensive. Racism is why you cannot function in this society. And you feel like everything here is unfair because it is. Because of racism. It's not a social class issue. If it was just a social class issue, there would be a hell of a lot more millionaires and billionaires because of the opportunities that we have here in this country that y'all like to proudly brag about. It gets to a point, at this point, I've been really flustered all day about this, to be honest with y'all. I really have. I've been doing really good with having a peace of mind, but this voting action right is really bothering the hell out of me. So what I really want to get to is this King's protest, this No King's protest. Make that shit count. Make it impactful. Make sure when you guys are in those streets, y'all not worried about your kids having a daycare or nothing, having fun. No. Make it worth it. Boycott everything. You shouldn't be subscribing to anything in this nation anymore. And I don't care if it's Netflix, Disney, HBO, DoorDash, Uber Eats. Get rid of all of it. Make your voice and make your money talk. Let them resonate. You need to resonate with them. You need to make them hurt the way they're making you hurt. I don't know. I'm beyond this. The VP defended us getting called monkeys. That's crazy.
So why is Bill Maher asking where's the black people at? Help me understand. And he's asking Michael Steele, who I don't follow him closely, but my understanding is he was the chairman of the RNC and he's been a little tokeny in the last few years. But he ate with his response. The first thing he said was, we all had a meeting. And I love it because that was the definition of tongue-in-cheek and double meaning. Because of course, any person who's a part of a minority group knows the experience of being asked to speak for the entire group, right? And so it's a very sarcastic thing to say, well, we all had a meeting, right? Because why are you asking me to speak for my entire demographic? At the same time, this was also somewhat literal because there is a collective agreement and understanding that we are not moving the same way that we normally move. So he said we had a meeting and it did not go well for white people. And then he said, but that really shouldn't even be the focus. We need to focus on the purpose of the protest, which is basically to say no to a dictator, to a wannabe. He also ate with that because not only did he acknowledged that black people are moving differently, he did it in a way that did not invite Bill Maher or any of his audience into that conversation with us. And I would dare say that that is a masterclass or a case study in keeping people out of black business or protecting black business, because he gave him Michael Steele gave Bill Maher no opening to offer an opinion, to offer an insight. He didn't even offer our opinions or our insight for Bill Maher or his audience to judge, because it's not your business. And it was the gentlest way possible for him to basically say, mind y'all's business. I mean, it begs the question, why are y'all looking for us like that? What's the reasoning to be so dedicated. He said the photographer was looking for black people. Why were you looking to photograph black people specifically at a protest? For what reason? What were those photos going to be used for? Who were they going to be distributed to? In what context were those photos going to be sent and distributed? And it was also interesting because it made me think about history, because y'all know I always go. So for those who watch my videos, you know I've been reading this book very, very, very slowly because it is so emotionally overwhelming for me. The book At the Hands of Persons Unknown, and it talks about the history of lynching in America. And so there was one example that the author was writing about in Tennessee, where there were two grocery store owners. There were two men, and they were in partnership to own a grocery store together, and they hired a worker at the store. And somehow these men were acquainted with Ida B. Wells, who also lived and worked out of Memphis, Tennessee. Anyway, we know there's a long history of black people thriving on their own and other groups deciding that they don't deserve to thrive on their own. And so there was a group of who decided that, you know, these black men should not own this grocery store, or this grocery store shouldn't be so successful. And so they went and they attacked it. So the worker of the store fought back, right? Defended himself, stood his ground. And apparently there was a shootout, and at least one of the white people who attacked the store died. The worker somehow got away and was in hiding. Eventually they found him, and they lynched him and the two store owners who were, you know, upheld members of society, upstanding members of the society. They were loved by everyone in the community. And essentially what this did was spark a mass exodus from the people living in that area of the South to the West, to you know, California and those parts. And so that was a wave of the Exoduster movement, which happened before the Great Migration. So the Exoduster movement happened kind of like right after emancipation, so like the 1870s and 80s. So this happened in 1882, I want to say. So a bunch of black folks left the area and moved west, and then those who stayed decided to boycott white businesses, including the streetcar, which apparently had just become electric, which started to run on electricity. Now, as violent and scary and superstitious as the racist Southern white folks were of the day, of course, black people had the reputation of being superstitious and scary and easily scared. So they get it in their heads that black people were not patronizing the streetcars because it was electric, and they were somehow afraid of that it would be dangerous. So these people go to Ida B. Wells, and they're like, can you let your people know that they can ride the streetcar because it's not going to be dangerous for them? And she promptly let them know the reason they're not riding the streetcars is because y'all are a bunch of murderous, you know, crazy folk, and don't nobody want to spend their money with y'all. Surprisingly, they were not happy to hear this. But, you know, the damage was done, and it did lead to a little bit of change in that area, which of course we know you always take, you know, one step forward, two steps back or whatever. So that was a one step forward but it just shows what happens when black folks disappear. If all you can do is enact violence against us, all you can do is talk nasty about us, all you can do is disrespect us and try to erase us, then don't come looking for us when we disappear. Stay there.
Bill Maher made a point to say that he spoke to photographers that attended the No King's Day protests. And these photographers said to him that they really struggled to find pictures of black people in attendance. Why is that? Why are photographers looking for black people to be in attendance at the No King's Day protests? Folks, we've known what this has been about. We've known what all of this has been about since Election Day. We all knew what time it was. And we knew that stepping back and allowing the rest of the country to fight this battle was the right decision. Because if you read Project 2025, if you read any piece of Project 2025, you knew they were looking to come after our community. And while so many other communities are proving to be collateral damage right now, they are also suffering at the hands of these people right now. Their goal, their end game, the last infinity stone to what they need to accomplish relies on the presence of black people. It hasn't even been a year since that election took place. And now you literally have someone like Bill Maher on his show speaking to someone like Michael Steele on HBO about the fact that can't nobody find us. Folks, if you have any knowledge of media, especially in America, especially at the highest levels of media, that means this conversation is happening in the boardrooms of some of the most powerful people on the planet. A lot of the people that probably have their hands in what's going on with this government are clearly looking for any way to get black people involved. But we haven't, and it actually confuses them. They're holding case studies on live television, trying to figure out what it's going to take to get us into this fight. Anyone who doubted that we made the right decision should be paying attention to that conversation, because I believe it highlights that we are connected to something very spiritual that they want access to. They've wanted access to it for a long time. They need it right now, and they cannot get it.
Black people keep resting. Bill Maher is on his television show asking why we weren't at the No Kings protest. And Bill, I'll tell you why. Because we're done. Until this country grows a conscience, what are we fighting for? We have no evidence that people in this country have a conscience. And that's what our ancestors did not realize until it was too late. And now we have the foresight and the telepathic ways of communicating that we recognize each other. And we're in a season where we can recognize our culture and respect it and own it. And for all of those who think we're mad because we're black, do you see how this is hitting my skin? This is 41. I will want to be black in every lifetime. Every lifetime.
Good morning. So nothing fancy this morning. I just wanted to hop up here and talk about the No Kings protest. So before you start gaslighting Black Americans about why they are not going to be outside protesting with you, just know that we are standing in solidarity with you. Just know that we are there with you in spirit, but we cannot physically be out on the front lines because they will be using us as target practice. I'm sure that you're well of your privilege, and I need you to use it immediately. For the longest time, Black voices and Black bodies have been the backbone of resistance in this country, to the point where I don't even know if you know how to resist without Black bodies and Black voices. And unfortunately, it's no longer our turn, because we showed up in November in 20 Black Suburbans like Sunday service, and we feel like we did our part. So to the Latinos, the Anglo-Saxons, the Asians who don't never say shit, they don't never protest nothing, to all the communities that have silently benefited from the labor of Black resistance, it's go time. It's your turn. It's no longer our turn right now.
Y'all saw they was looking for us out at the No Kings March and they couldn't find us. Bill Maher talking about, oh yeah, the Baltimore newspaper said that they photographers was searching for Black people in the crowd and they couldn't find them. They was looking for us, child. And the reason why they was looking for us is because they want us to be the face. They wanted to take a picture of us to put on the front page of the newspaper when they wrote that story. They want us to be the face of everything that's wrong with this country. And that's the reason why I need y'all, November 1st, if they cut SNAP like they say they're going to, I need y'all to not come on here and talk about how not having SNAP benefits is affecting you. I need you to not give no interviews to no newspapers. Do not be the face of the SNAP benefits. Do not let them use us, Black women especially, as the poster child for SNAP benefits. Don't come on here talking about how you hungry, how your kids is hungry. No. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, DM me if you must. If you get the urge to come on here and talk about how hungry you are, DM me and we'll figure something out. Because no, I just like we not the face of they little marches and all that type of stuff. I don't need us to be the face of this. We need to change the narrative. And the only way for us to do that is to keep our mouth shut.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you're doing great from wherever you're watching me from. I'm your host and presenter, Jindok Stories. There was something that I would like to say that is really, really significant that is really, really important. Black people of the United States have been the target for a while now. And it is time that I think black people are taking into responsibility that they need to look onto each other. This means that failing to go into a trap that somebody is setting you up so that you can go and become a victim. Just recently, when you saw there were protests that a black woman went, and out of everyone, she was the one who was picked out of the protest. Well, different people have different things to say about this, but visibly, we could see that black woman being picked out of everyone, majority of the people being white people that were protesting. And so this all reveals and this all shows that it is so much different when a black person goes on the street. But on the other hand, we also understand how desperate white folks need black people to join them on the streets. You could visibly see that we have people that are asking black people to join them on the streets. While I understand that everyone is going through, is going through this difficulty that is going on right now, and indeed, America needs a collection of people to bring change, right, to transform the economic situation, political landscape, and social issues that are happening in the United States. But again, I like black people because they are not falling for the traps that are being set to them. In as much as this is a collective fight for the change of the United States, I think it is not secure or it's not good for black people to join all these protests. Why? Because they have always wanted to put black people behind the bars. Yes, because we are seeing white people protesting, but nothing is happening to them. Everything is just okay. It is business as usual. But when a black person goes on the street, I don't think it's the same. Now things becomes different, and you can visibly see that it's getting much dangerous for a black person. Also, another factor that I would like to talk about is that when we try to trace the cause of the problem or what is happening in the United States today, you understand that it is self-inflicted. It means that white people, maybe not all of them, but white conservatives, those who chose, and some black conservatives, because we have them, those who chose Donald Trump's, beliefs and his lies, they're right now wanting a collective voice. Why would you tell somebody to join you, fight a person that you are the one who put into power, but right now you need a person that you fought while they tried to warn you about the consequences of the things that were here to happen? We can also look at it in this way. Black people warned the world, they warned white people about all these things that are happening right now. And they told you there would be a broad daylight fascism that will be going on in the United States. And you definitely see this happening. You definitely kind of understand the consequences that this has towards everything that you're seeing, which is happening today. And so, brothers and sisters, I think it's imperative to just let black people be. That's all they're that's all they're asking. They just want to be left alone. They don't want to join no fight that they didn't start. Since you're the ones who started this fight, it is your responsibility to also end this fight. And so, brothers and sisters, I honestly think this is the time for black people to rest. They could be in their houses. It is the festive season is yet to come. You don't need to it's yet to come. You don't need to find yourself out there in a predicament that you're not responsible for. So I'll definitely ask people to stay wherever they are and just mind their business. I think that's the most important thing, brothers and sisters. So please let me know what you think and feel about this video. But until then, I'm your host and presenter, Agent Stories. Let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.